It's Saturday, which means it must be time for another Saturday Shorts. Hey, I want to say hi to everyone that's here to join me this morning. Got a couple of things that I want to cover with people just so that they understand kind of what I do. I know lately I have not been answering telephone calls, emails, messages, things from Messenger quite as I should. And I just wanted to explain that it's not because I don't find your calls and your communications to me important. The problem I'm having right now is a issue with time. For instance, this week, I've tried to get my regular videos out, tried to post something on Facebook. Along with that, I've done 2 different podcasts, each one of them, several hours long. So it eats up a lot of time. And I appreciate those people that have me on their podcast. The most recent one was Cooking Up a Story with Aaron and Joe. Now, they wanted to hear the real story of Buford PUSSER. They understood the movie version, but they hadn't quite heard what the real story was like. And a deputy U.S. Marshal was the one that had them contact me, so I went on their show. It can be found on Apple as well as Spotify. And actually, the first installment of that came out Thursday. So it's out there and available for you to listen to right now. The other one is a really good one. It won't be out for probably a month yet, I'm guessing. He hasn't sent me a release date on it, but it is with on a podcast called Gone South. It should be a really good one as well. So at any rate, what I'm trying to say is all these things take time. Like whenever I lay out a video, I've got to do a little research about what all I want to put in it. I've got to find the photographs, the newspaper clippings, the documentation, whatever I'm going to use in a video to have it. I've got to kind of think about how I'm going to convey all of it in what order, so on and so forth. And just laying it out takes a little time. I'm a one-man operation here, so I do everything. I kind of get caught up with the time element, and I don't answer communications like I should, but just be aware. I really want you to communicate whenever you feel the need. For instance, recently I'm getting a lot of questions about the TBI's investigation. Now, what I can say there is that I don't know any more than you do. The TBI doesn't share any information with anyone. What I can do is give you my opinion of things. I think that one of the big topics is, when is Pauline's autopsy report going to be released? I think that the TBI probably views that as an integral part of their investigation, so they will probably release information on it whenever they've concluded the entire investigation. I assume that will be probably just a few weeks more. I know that people that are on my videos that watch those, even strangers contact me and say, hey, here's something I knew, or here's something that was passed on to me by someone close to me that is now deceased. I always ask them, well, that's interesting, it's relevant. Would you mind speaking with the TBI? And, they'll tell me if it's okay. I'll try to make sure that happens. I facilitate that much. And I've got several of these people that are calling me back even now saying, well, the TBI did get in touch with me and they've interviewed me. So I do know that. But so what that tells me is that the investigation right now is ongoing. and hopefully they're getting down to the end of it. They'll get things wrapped up, come up with a summary of what they can tell, and they'll share it with us. So you'll know when I know. Next thing I would like to cover, and keep in mind, that is just my opinion about the timing on this. My opinion only. I also have a lot of people asking, well, where are we going with this story next now that we've kind of covered the ambush? Well, we got a long ways to go. For instance, my next 3 episodes I'll share with you basically being what happened in 1968 for the entire year. It was kind of slow after the ambush. Not a whole lot happened, but there were a couple of really important incidents. So I'll have one episode telling what happened in 1968. Then I'm going to be more specific about some of those incidents, like when Buford had a prisoner escape, Paul David English. He went down to Corinth, chasing him down through there, and shots were fired. Paul David English was wounded. And so I'm going to tell that story in detail, maybe share some things you might not know. Another episode is going to be about Russ Hamilton. Now, that is one of those cases where I get a lot of questions. How did Russ Hamilton manage to kill so many people and not spend any more time in prison than he did? How was he always getting out? And I think I'm going to share some information with you there that a lot of people don't know. That should be really interesting because there's a story there in itself. So those are the next 3 things that will come along that you'll see. So I think you'll enjoy them. Got to cut this one short today. Again, scheduling. I'll be back Thursday with another episode of Buford PUSSER, the other story, and we'll talk about one of the 3 subjects that I just covered. And we'll go into depth on those. In the meantime, I apologize for poor communications on my part. Please don't stop. I want to hear from you. And I'd appreciate you watching my videos. I appreciate your comments there, good or bad. So just keep them coming and keep watching. After a while, everybody will know the real story of Buford PUSSER. Until next time, just remember, the truth has no agenda.